All right, looks like we're good. So, this is story time, episode 4. And instead of reading a magazine, which is what I'd been doing in the previous episodes, I had a few requests of people wanting me to review the Hoax specifically, which is the video that was out right around the time when all of the magazines that I was reading were written. So everything was kind of building up to the Hoax. All of the Daily Breads came out after the Bottom Line, which was the first real video that was made for aggressive inline skating. And it all was building up to the Hoax. And the Hoax was, for me, probably the most influential video of our generation of skating. It changed the game. Whereas Dare to Air was, let's watch Chris Edwards do stunts. The Hoax was, there are guys that just go around and they skate things. And that changed everything. The tricks were amazing. The progression from Chris Edwards doing handrails in Dare to Air to Arlo doing frontsides on kink rails in the Hoax, it made it real. All of the grinding, the anti-rocker, the soul grinds, all of the what we consider now the street skating aspect of aggressive skating. This was the first exposure that we had to it. And you got to imagine, back in those days, we're looking at pictures like, you got pictures in Daily Bread where you see still photos of people doing grinds, or you'll see, maybe a sequence shot of people doing grinds, but we couldn't see what it actually looked like. We didn't know the speed of it. We didn't know how high they were jumping. We couldn't grasp it. So the Hoax was the first time that we had the opportunity to see that. There was no internet, there was no Instagram, nothing like that. So I'm going to watch the Hoax with you. I put a link in the description to the full video. Keep in mind that I'm going to keep the sound down a little bit so that I can talk. And I'm also going to stop and go over things a few times where I find parts of the Hoax that were influential to me and my friends when we first watched it. And this video was on repeat. This was the video that we watched every day before we went skating, or it was, if it was raining, the video that we watched when we weren't skating. So I know it pretty well, though I haven't watched it in many years. If you haven't seen it, this is going to be a weird first date with the Hoax. So I encourage you to watch the full video by yourself sometime, so that you can watch all the clips at their full glory with the music. I'm going to be stopping and starting and talking and things like that. So a little different. I don't do a lot of voiceovers and commentary for videos. I think that Joey and Todd do a great job with that. I think Butch does a great job with that. I think there's a lot of people doing voiceovers for videos, and that's not my gig. But this is an exception. There might be a few other videos in the future that are exceptions. Videos that were important to me, and maybe videos that we get to in reading the magazines that were important to skating. So here we go. So this is the Hoax. I'm going to start from the beginning. As it was back in those days, there's usually an intro to everything. There's the FBI warning. There's the you might kill yourself warning. None of that happens anymore in VODs, but this is a good time to sip a little bourbon. This is some Angel Envy tonight. My wife got me this bottle for Christmas, and it is amazing. T-Bone Films. This was the first skating video from T-Bone. Dare to Air was done by Groove, which then went on to do Bottom Line and Video Groove. And then T-Bone did the Hoax, and they did Fast Shoes, and they did a few other videos. featuring the skating antics of Chris Edwards and Arlo Eisenbergs, the two huge players at the time. And there's Brooke. Notorious for falling on his face, hurting himself. Wearing an old Senate shirt, by the way. That was the original Senate logo.
Calculated risks, taking responsibility for yourself. I think that's the major message that we want to put out there.
That's huge. Like, imagine doing a big mute air into a long stair ride. Like, that's the sort of thing that it gets to. Okay, I'm not going to talk. Let's just watch the intro. All right. So, what are we? 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in? That was by far the biggest eye-opening experience for us skating. We didn't have a clue what street skating looked like until we saw this video. Go back a little bit. You can see, like, all of this stuff is normal. Like, just the first, we'll start with the first 10 clips, right? So, all right, here's Arlo, who we'd never seen before because he wasn't in any of the, he was in Daily Bread, but he wasn't in Dare to Air. So we didn't know who Arlo was, but it's this shaved head dude who's not wearing big bulky knee pads, not wearing wrist guards, completely different look, doing a 360 over 2 handrails. And you're like, wow, like this guy, like we'd seen stuff like that before, but we hadn't seen it in this form where they were dressed normal. Like it was always this huge padded beast, you know, Chris Edwards or whatever, and here it is, Arlo just kind of hanging out with a t-shirt. Michael Palak, Chris Garrett, This is all like daily, dare, dare. And then look at that. So imagine, so go back, 30 years or however long it is. Well, this is 93, so, 27 years. You're, a 16-year-old, however old I was. And you've seen pictures of people on handrails. I don't even think we had a practice rail because we didn't even know how to do it. It wasn't possible. Like it wasn't even something we considered. And you see Arlo arguably not skating very fast to the rail, but the length of that rail, what's that, 12 stair? And just kind of jump on and cruise down. Like every other rail that we'd seen thus far was the really small rail that Chris Edwards was doing. He jumped on rails, balancing rails. It's like this was a whole new thing that it didn't even cross our minds that was even possible. And there was a split. There was a split between Chris Edwards, Chris Garrett, Jess, and all the vert guys. And then there were street guys. And it's like you see Arlo skating with his shirt off, and he's only skating street. I don't know if that's Brian Konoski or who, but then Arlo doing this big air. It's like there was a split between skaters. This was Arlo's style, and this was skating on the half pipe. And we were like, we don't have a half pipe, and this looks cool. Let's do Arlo style. So we wanted to be street skaters. Chris Mitchell stuff was kind of weird. I don't know. He was on the rollerblade dance team, and you could see like he was kind of figure skating style, whereas Arlo brought a very different vibe to all of the tricks that he did. Yeah, it was like two generations. Look at that. That's a nice 10 stair. Arlo just killing it. People are just hanging out in the back watching. And he's got no pads on, no helmet, no wrist guards, maybe a wrist guard. But it's like vert, Arlo doing something we'd never seen before. Vert, Arlo doing something we'd never seen before. This was like, everybody wanted to be Arlo after this. And Brooke, obviously. Brooke just kind of hung out. I don't think he was really, for us, he was kind of like comedic relief. He was the guy that always fell down a lot. .540 to steroid, that's pretty dope. I'd love to see him with a little bit more speed, but obviously that was a long time ago. And nothing against skating vert, but like that wasn't what we wanted to do. They were really good at it, of course, but it was all like stuff we'd seen before. So this was Dave Cardoza. Dave Cardoza was the first rider for 50-50. Dave Cardoza was destroying this skate park. What's that, alley-oop backside? Alley-oop backside? Yeah, I'll call it alley-oop. I'm okay with that. 360, fakie 3 to a fakie 3 backside stall. He was good. Nobody was skating like that on mini ramps. And there's Jess with ponytail, teen ponytail. Yeah, Arlo just such a different look. Like two different shirtless people. One of them wearing helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, shorts, going big on a vert ramp. The other guy just, no shirt, big baggy pants, and just jumping off of things. Like, so different. When we saw this, we were like, what the hell is he doing? And we didn't realize that you had to wax ledges. So you saw a candle, and you're like, what is he doing? Why is he doing that? And look at all the people waxing. There's like a lot of candles, the candle brigade out waxing the ledge, all for Arlo to just do one trick. Brooke falling and eating shit. Nothing new. Yeah, but what an intro. I mean, it started everything for us. We were like, this video is going to be amazing. And then sections. So they introduce Chris, massive vert airs. I think he's got a little bit of street coming up. Yeah, that's that rail in Escondido. That was on the Tarmac CE ad. Soul grind in Escondido. That's where the IMOTA Escondido, San Diego IMOTA was. And then, yeah, Arlo, Jess. Chris with a pencil 720. Girls, like, who would have thought there were girls skating? So Arlo skating vert was a huge thing because we were like, wow, like he can do everything. We'd never seen this guy, and here he is skating vert. Huge rail. Look at that rail. Oh my God, Arlo. Again, just killing it. And then that's our first soul grind. That's the first time we ever saw soul grind. We were like, what the heck is that? Like, how is he sliding so fast? Because remember, back then, skates didn't have sole plates. They didn't have a heel lock. They had rivets underneath because all of the frames were riveted to the boots. So how is he doing that? And we used to pause that, and we used to like, how does he do that? I don't understand how he's not falling off. Frontsiding a kink rail? I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, this guy was living in a completely different world than everyone else. They were all over here skating vert. And then it's Arlo doing soul grinds, doing big rail front sides, doing kinked rail front sides. I mean, he was on his own world. He was doing his own thing, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be like Arlo. I think a lot of people wanted to be like Arlo after this video hit. I can't believe I was drinking then. See Arlo try outspin soul grind on that rail. Whoosh, outspin, almost like a stub soul. Christ Machio, right? Just ran out of space. But so progressive, man. Ugh. I don't know who that was that hurt his tooth, but somebody hurt himself. Oof. That was incredible. So this is what Colin calls the coil theory. So the late 180. You can see he just does hucks himself, and his top, like his feet are still straight, his top turns, and then he twists it back. You can see the arm twist back, and then he lands 180, the courthouse in New York. Watch that again, regular speed. So good. We used to do that anytime we could find an opportunity to do a late 180. So progressive. Oof, that hurts. Is that Mike? This was what was amazing about this video. All the commentary, all the little jokes, all the whispering. Pat Parnell, so good. Making fun of Brooke. Explaining anti-rocker. Halo haircut. So that is, I don't know whose setup that is, but standard anti-rocker now, but you can see those middle wheels aren't anti-rocker wheels. They look like really big wide wheels, like skateboard wheels that they made fit. It wasn't until Senate made the C notes and the bribes that we actually had actual anti-rocker wheels. So I don't know if those were those. Maybe they were prototypes, but they were way too wide.
Get right here in the center so we can grind.
And Chris Mitchell with the selfie cam, putting the phone on his on his shoe to get the clip. So much waxing. We were like, oh, that's how they do it. And Jess killing it. So smooth. Those were the original Rossi's ramp skates. You could see how big those wheels were. They had a split system. They had the plastic grind plates. Mark Heineken skating them here, and probably the same session where they got the photo for the ad in Daily Bread. Is it this one? Probably the same photo. This was the ad. Looks like the same session, same ramp. Oof. So good at spine. I guess he was a skateboarder, that was his thing. That is crazy. So how do you get up on a rail that you can't jump on? You use your hand. Like, who thinks that way? Again, Arlo's just doing things that nobody thought about before. We didn't even realize rails were a thing, and Arlo's doing so many variations to get on. Big rails. God, he's so good. Backside grinds? I think that's BK, I don't know. Steep rail.
Hi, I'm Mark Heineken from Holland. I'm a Dutch skater. Mike's grown up on 12-foot high ramps and comes here. Kind of cuts loose every now and then. Mark, just tell us, just quietly, you're wearing a new skate there and kind of incorporates some of the new features required today in inline skating.
Yeah, well, one thing. Hard wheels break, wheels suck. It's a killer basically. Frame's hard, doesn't break. Rivets pop out though.
These were the probably the first samples.
Stuff needs to be tough. Skating's tough. That's what it's all about.
Alley-oop backside. So good. Oh, so good. Grind plates on the outside though. I don't know what that's all about. Second angle of that intro rail, so good. Loved that backside on the mini ramp over the hip. Something we always wanted to find as a way to do that. There's Angie. Killing it. Daily Bread t-shirt. Arlo falling down. He was pretty good at vert, but obviously he was more of a street skater than anything else. Oof. Frontside that rail. Like, there's a lot of people who wouldn't frontside that rail now. That's a big rail. Frontsides. When all you have is a frontside, I mean, that's what you do on everything, right? It's a big gap too. Fun P-rail. Sadly, a lot of the vert skating hasn't aged super well, in my opinion. It's all like kind of the same thing over and over. Not super interesting. Oof. So there was that soul grind, Chris Garrett, or Chris Mitchell. We watched this a lot too, because this was like, how is he doing that? We could not figure out how he's sliding, because we tried so much. And the trick was, you got to break in your skates. Like these skates, not only is it a waxed, painted loading dock, so it's going to be super slippery, but the rivets were already worn in, so he was able to grind instead of getting stuck on the rivets. When we were trying to learn, we didn't think about any of that, so we put wax on, but not enough. Probably wasn't a painted ledge, and our skates were brand new, so you had to get down that metal before you could actually slide. So good.
They're standing there, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm looking right up here. You okay? You know, more and more we're starting to find that corporations that produce materials for skates aren't keeping up with the times. They're not making stuff that can take what we dish out. Subsequently, little kids pay all their hard-earned pocket money, and then it just breaks on them. Get you together.
Those chunked wheels. Oof.
Doesn't break in an hour.
That one was interesting. So looking at Brooke doing this rail to jump down, you see that thing on his toe? So he's got this little break on his toe. That is, I don't remember what that was called, a skids or something like that. It was this weird thing that you could fasten like a brake, but he was doing like running against walls and boosting off of walls with it. I think he just got paid and they told him to get some clips using it, and he was like, all right. Ooh, that was it. This was the one. Yeah, perfect form on that soul grind. I mean, if you want to find what an example of bowing over your foot to do a soul grind back in the days, this is it. Go super slow. Look at that. His sole foot being so far over the ledge so that he could get on, because he had small feet. So, you know, Arlo's got like a size 7 foot or whatever, so his skates weren't as wide as like a size 10 or a size 11 or whatever. So he had to get super over because the sole space was maybe 2 inches. So good.
My name is Joseph Ritchie, and I'm 12 years old.
Oof. Reminds me of trying to learn 540s. Falling over and over and over again. I love all the airs to stair rides. I think that was really progressive. Not something we do very often now. How big Chris goes. A little late 180 at the end. It's like a music video almost.
Gotta have a little long, big, gummy, fat method, laid back, Japan, tweak.
I don't know who that is. Oof. Oh, that was that angle. So we were trying to figure out how is he doing it, right? And you saw that perfect sole, and you were like, okay, I need to see that again. And this was the perfect angle for that. So you could see exactly how he was jumping on. Look at that knee. Look at that knee. His knee is so far over that curb. Like his body weight is right on top. You got to bone that knee over because his sole is so small. No sole plates, no heel plates, nothing. He's balancing on the toe part. So good. I always loved that. I don't think they were doing soles on rails yet. I think it was only on ledges. Michael Palak. Woof. Little Royale, you see that? Started with a Royale right there. Slid it a little bit, and then he popped out. Oh, put his hand down almost. Those boots were not made for Royales.
Do you have your 50 to 60 mil wheels? No. Is your rail at least 2 inches wide? No. Do you have a slider bar? Maybe you could use the East Coast skateboard rails cut down? No. Do you have a real rail? No. Well, we're gonna have to make do here at the backyard ramp. We're gonna
I loved the skits.
moderate speed.
There needs to be more skits and videos.
Landing, Brett. It'll be about 3 to 5 feet from the top of the rail. Have you focused? I'm there. Your front foot should find the rail first. Oh. Okay, and your back foot should land dragging. Dragging? Just dragging. At this point, both feet should be sliding between the second and third wheels. Oh, busted. All right. Slide to the end of the rail. Slide, damn it! Wait, now you can't spot your landing and let your legs absorb the shock as you make contact. Well, he made contact. Yes, but wait, no, he's going to make contact now. Whoa! So, there you go, the A to Z. If you're out there, if you've seen those nasty little handrails, you don't need them. If you've got a broom, a backyard ramp, and, well, just, it's a little elbow pad there. You can do all the rails, have all the fun, and the safety of your own home.
We don't really have a Brooke anymore either. Somebody who's that personality. The video starts getting kind of, not to say anything bad about the Hoax, but it's kind of repetitive because we only had like 5 or 6 skaters, right? So we've seen them all before. This was awesome. Just a front side on a bike rack, but it just looked so good. But yeah, vert, I mean, you've seen all the vert before. Like, I think the street was really interesting because there was always different spots. And then there's that guy. But without the street, it would have been a really boring video. That rail is so steep. Yeah, the verts just doesn't, for me, it doesn't age very well. I don't think it's their ability level that's the problem. It's that it's just very monotonous. It's the same ramp over and over and over again.
540, you have to do it sideways.
Arlo with a 5.
I told you. Now that's the sideways. That was nice.
I love all those steroids. We don't do steroids enough anymore. And Chris with the steroids and 360s down all of the stairs. It's a big rail for Chris. Chris was really pushing it in this video. I don't think anything ever happened with Chris. I don't think he was ever... He was dance team, but he went to do Box Magazine and all that, but I don't think he ever pursued like the professional rollerblader career after this. He wasn't a team manager or anything either. Oosh. Big bail. We didn't see very many falls in this, like hurt falls, except for Brooke. It's that soul again. That was a long soul. Yeah, Chris Mitchell was everywhere in this.
Now listen, I have a hat because this is really important. I'm gonna put the chili pepper right here. It's very rare.
Now look at Arlo's haircut, where he had the little devil horns. Jason Marshall tried to do that, and the lady at Supercuts misunderstood him, and he came out looking like antenna, like a little like an alien antenna instead of a devil horn. He grew his hair out for so long to look like that, and she just butchered it. So I think he put like tin foil on there, aluminum foil on there to make it seem a little bigger. It didn't come out as cool as Arlo's. Arlo's looks pretty legit.
Together and have the strength and the courage. Hey, I'm gonna try something new. Yeah. I'm gonna do something that I didn't do yesterday. I'm gonna do something today that's new, that's bold, and God darn it, I'm gonna try it and like it. Okay, can we say that?
I'm gonna try it and like it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna like it.
You could tell Arlo just didn't want to be part of this.
Listen, we're all gonna wait. Two people write it out, but we die fine. Yeah, Chris. Easy now. What's up? Chris Mitchell scoring a 4.0 on the back.
Very different video. Like, this is commentary. This is a sessioning a rail. Like, again, think about the other video, like Dare to Air, which is super produced, and then this is what a session looks like. Like, there's no edits. It was just a bunch of people lining up to session a rail, and it was a kinked rail at that, but it was completely different. It wasn't a video. This was like we were just invited to somebody's session. So different. So, I mean, this video, again, this sort of thing doesn't happen in VODs much anymore. I mean, you go to an event and you'll see like event sessioning and everything. And I think, you know, the YouTube stuff, but like the polished VODs, they don't have this organic style to it. I think this is something that T-Bone did really well. Hoax 2, again, another classic T-Bone video, but they really captured the spirit of being there. And this is, you know, this is what a session is like. Just everybody kind of talking about each other and watching each other skate, and it's really great.
Which is actually reminiscent of gymnastics. Those of you that caught in where was it? Barcelona. I'm sorry. The earlier balancing beam acts there back in Barcelona last year. We're going to be implementing actually balancing beam, uneven parallel bars, and integrate that into rail riding, if you can believe it. So definitely stay tuned because more ramp and rail. Oh! Make sure I'm okay. I hit my head.
You okay?
I don't know.
A bald spot. You got horns coming out of your head. Otherwise,
You've got a bald spot and you've got horns. Guy hit his head. You got horns coming out of your head. Just giving him shit. I don't care that you fell down.
The rail and ramp time trials are proved well in the preliminary. So we'll see how it goes.
Mitchell's feeling the pressure. He sees Allo go down. Come back with his strongest rail right later.
Hey, I have a message for kids, man. Rail took my wheel, hit my head on the stairs. Never let the rail own you.
Never let the rail own you. I own that rail. Michael Palak.
I got my leg split over the rail. The next thing I knew,
Those horns were amazing. They were tight. And that's not what Jason's look like.
I'm on the bottom of the steps.
And another skit. Again, just silliness. Chris Edwards making fun of Airborne. I still think it's this sort of thing that breaks up videos that is super important. Can't just be skating. It's got to be all about lifestyle. It's got to be just what's the skating world like. Big gaps, Brooke. You're just gonna hurt yourself, dude. I remember always just laughing at him because he just fell down all the time. He'd go big, but it's just don't try it. I don't know what Arlo was trying right there, but in today's terms, right? So he's coming up fakie. He has outspin. Maybe outspin to, he was trying to go outspin to frontside maybe? And ended up missing, almost goes topsoul. I don't know if he realized how close he was to inventing a brand new trick, but that's like what you look like when you miss like a, alley-oop top acid or something.
All you have to do is make sure you get a good stance when you jump on it. And just hang on for the ride.
Infamous Venice ledge. Chris was so good. Like you can see the crowds just loving this. Like, look at this guy on his rollerblades doing big tricks on this big ramp. And Chris was so good at getting the crowd involved. Huntington Beach Pier Fest 93. So this is probably summer of 93 that most of this was filmed. I think this came out in the end of 93, maybe beginning of 94. I think we got it beginning of 94, so I don't know how soon after it came out that we got it. That's so big. Just incredible. I mean, that's the sort of thing that you see walking the beach and you're like, who is this dude? And you come over and you watch him. Like me going on a vert ramp would not get anybody excited. Venice again. I don't know what they were trying here. There was grass down there, so it's not like they were going to really roll away.
You want the sex facts? You want to go surfing on your bed?
God. Making a groove. Aaron Spawn Ranch. That looks so sketchy.
There we go. Now, give us that all-American look. Yes, that was great.
I wonder if this was a photo that they were shooting or if it was just being silly. Chris Mitchell back from Mind Game Video showing Mr. Photographer guy, that character coming back. I wonder what this was for. That would be so scary, standing up there, buckled into some skates. I'd be so scared. Crash section. Videos used to have crash sections. I don't think we do very much anymore. God, Chris, so good. Look at how high he goes.
Your ankle? Yep. Son of a bitch. Okay, man, I'll come down. Son of a bitch.
Ouch. Crash section full of Brooke. Brooke, count 3. I don't know who that is. Not Brooke. Probably Chris Mitchell or Corey. 5. Nice pink wheels. 6. Oof. Got Arlo. I don't know what that one's from. Yikes. I think that's Mark Shays. Brooke, 7. 8. Oof. Just wheel bite. Bite.
Why'd you go for the belly today? To protect the sound equipment.
Mark Shays.
As I jerked it down the hill. We got a little wrap on the hand here. What's this? This would be a fractured pinky. Fractured pinky.
Ouch. This mic or what? Number 8 for Brooke. Pat wasn't in this video very much. I wonder if he hurt himself on this and decided nope. Maybe he was more of a vert skater anyway. I don't know what he was thinking bonking off of that bike, but I guess that's what you do. Brooke again, 9. Poor Mike. Oof, there it was. There it was, the soul grind attempt. Look at how he locks on, but you could see he just stuck. So that sole just slips off. Look at how small that sole is. This is the sort of rail that you would have to, like this skate, you'd have to topside because you got to have that foot position. There's no way he was going to land that. I wonder if after doing that, it took a long time to try a soul grind on a rail again. Like he was like, nope, this is impossible. Nobody can do it. Like it's only for ledges. Rails are too round. So big. No grooves back then. More Brooke. Oops. That's probably where he split his chin open. I don't know who this guy is, but gotta commit. Did not commit. Oh, you can't. Yeah, you gotta commit. Can't just put your foot up there and hope. Ouch. Oh, there it was. He almost did it that time. He's gonna hit his head. I don't like watching that. Look at this. He almost did it. He was on. It's that back foot. See, that back foot keeps getting stuck. And it lifts up, and then he just gets buckled. Like, he would have been fine on a Macchio. He kind of missed on his back foot, or front foot too, but he would have been fine on a Macchio. Nope. Sorry, Arlo. It's possible, I swear. Oof. Way too low on that backflip. This was cool, showing the actual fire department showing up, EMS showing up.
I think I must have blacked out for a second. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened here. Like I said earlier,
Chris Garrett.
bad. Just another case,
Fiction.
backflips are good if you're tweaking them, but what he had done was laid out. That's where he went wrong. Another day in the life of a skater.
Another day in the life of a skater. We used to say that a lot whenever we'd fall. A lot of quotes from Hoax became part of our vernacular. Dog chasing them in Venice Beach. A lot of sections in this video. It's a very long video. How far are we in? 30 minutes in. Videos nowadays are so short compared to this. This was like a serious commitment to watch the whole thing. And really, it's like a dozen sessions where they just stretch it with a lot of B-roll, a lot of cruising around. It's not like 45 minutes of great skating. Brooke doing silly dances. Arlo with a kinked. Boom, boom. Looks like a fun rail. Rides the whole thing. Oh, you gotta love that. He was so good. Brooke still trying. Step on soul from Chris. It's alright, I don't mind. This was good. Oof, go Arlo. God damn, he looks so good. I love how the music also, I don't know if you can hear the music, but the music really slows down and it's just like perfect for that. Because they knew how important that trick was. Like, soul grind is what differentiated us. It was uniquely rollerblading. I wonder if that dude knew that he was going to jump over it. No flinch, so maybe. I don't know what Brooke was trying there. Two Chris's. At the end of this fight, only one was named Chris. They were fighting for the name.
The sport of inline skating
Jill Schultz.
is fun, but it's important to exercise safety along with it in order to have
Jill Schultz was responsible for Camp Rollerblade and also does the Wheels,
gear, especially for beginners.
whatever it's called. That Fabiola does, and Jaren Grove and Coco do. All the
When
events that they do at the theme parks, she's in charge of that. Whew. Ouch.
Although inline skating has become a big business now with associations pushing safety and rules and organizations, the people who are really creating the excitement out there and really bringing the sport
I wonder what this
to
is
another
from.
level are a select group of individuals who,
Chris, look at that.
who through the obsession
Stale
with their
McTwist.
sport are pushing it to the limits.
So good. God, he's so good.
Can you turn the sound up?
I wonder if that was that trade show that we read about in the last story time where they met Aton Kramer. Big rail, Chris. Oof. So many layers. He was wearing so many layers there. Hey, Angie. Look at this. Look at that. Hold on. What the hell? Alley-oop. Backside. Pud slide, kinda? Backslide, maybe? I think he was just trying to do like a tap. It wasn't a grind or anything, but just a kick the rail. So good. Who was doing stuff like that back then? Literally just Arlo was doing stuff like that. Mike killed that rail. He did it at least 3 times. I think that's Jimmy. Jimmy Trimble didn't really get a lot of anything. He was just kind of part of Team Rollerblade, did vert shows, but then kind of fell off. He was in that Team Paradise commercial. That's really about it. I wonder if Brooke ever landed that cap. A tight shirt, Arlo. Very tight. There's that I Love Cops sticker, and then the little toe thing that they had mounted to their skates that I don't know what it was for, but they were just trying to figure out what to make it look cool doing, and another company dumping money into the sport, trying to make a quick buck. I don't know who that was. Netta, maybe? Double grab, Jess.
Free speech isn't really free at all. It's like a driven circus. Just business as usual. Pissing me off, man. I give 2 less testicles about you or your rare. I'm out of here 3 months, man. Count 'em.
More airborne quotes. I don't think we had seen Airborne before this came out, so we didn't understand the references. And then after we saw Airborne, we watched the Hoax again, and we were like, oh, of course. He's making fun of the character that he played.
I hate it when you're like just starting to say and you slam on the ramp. I thought it was. Oh, I just have to quit. Have you ever let the little blood? Yes. That is embarrassing. All about sound backyard, radical, inline bird, barbecue.
My brother used to do that a lot. again, it's just the little things that happened in this video became part of
We're calling it love skating. We don't care who you
our way of communicating.
where you're from. We just want to see you. We want to love you. We want to hold you. You talk way too much. I talk way too much.
This ledge in LA near the airport, all they did was front-sided. Like, that's all anybody did, because they only had one trick. You saw everybody just skating fast, front-siding it. Sometimes they'd spin off. Ooh, more souls. Soul stall jumping. We used to do that after seeing that. Not that, but the soul stalls. Oh, there it is. First soul grind on a handrail actually done. You could tell he was super bowed over too. Made it work. So good. Yeah, I don't think you really feel the weight of the soul grind and what the soul grind did to our sport. It was the differentiator where skating was not just skateboarding. It was its own thing. Because before we were just emulating skateboarding, and then soul grinds changed that whole thing.
You hear that, Bob? You know what that sound is? That's synthetic metal. That's not a Senate part. That's not the kind of thing we make in Senate.
They've been passing that off on us all this time.
You thought it was metal, didn't you?
I thought it was
Throw it
metal.
away.
Hey!
The Senate wheel.
Why pay more?
That's what I said. I was out there inline skating every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, breaking things, breaking bearings, spacers, wheels, that kind of stuff. That's why I started Senate.
Wow. And
We thought Pat did start Senate, and he did not.
It's really to each his own with the
Pat had nothing to do with Senate, but I think a lot of people were confused.
any effort or means that that person wants to utilize Senate utensils. It's amazing what you can take and capitalize on. That's what skating, that's what inline skating is all about, is taking something and capitalizing on it. And that's what I did.
you're telling me that they cost less, but they do more.
That's right. They cost less and they do more. And that's why we get it out to the consumer the way we do.
All right. So there it is, the hoax. Long video. It's a lot longer than I realized. And again, there's a lot of footage that gets played over and over and over again because there was no story. The pitch of Hoax 2, a cross-country mecca to the best skating in America. If you have a curb, ramp, rail that we have to ride, send us a photograph or a video, and maybe we will shoot it for the Hoax 2. Seeing that and thinking, yeah, right, I mean, they're never going to do that. And then, Hoax 2 came out, and we were like, what? I can't believe that. They actually did what they said they were going to do. We will watch Hoax 2 eventually. I think it's another super important video. And the hyper ad. There were only a few wheel companies back then, so we didn't have much variety. Hyper Box. I used to subscribe to Box. I used to have a green Box hat I used to wear all the time. It was green, kind of like Kermit the Frog. The material felt like fuzzy, like Kermit would. I've never touched Kermit the Frog, but that's how I assume he is. Daily Bread. Issue 2, Issue 1. Issue 3. Got them all right here. So this probably came out right before issue 4. Or at least this ad was submitted right before issue 4. It's Over Rover, the Fat Lady Singing, the end. T-Bone Films. So there you go. Super progressive video for the time. Again, this was something that we had never seen anything like this before. copyright 94. We'd never seen anything like this before, so this was the first time that we actually saw real rails. You know, the stuff that you were seeing in Dare to Air was rail skating, but very in its infancy. You know, the first time that somebody tried to do a rail, the first time that you would do a little curb or a one-footed grind or something like that. This was Arlo, and this introduced Arlo, and this was like making Arlo this person, this enigma that everybody wanted to emulate, and everybody, you know, modeled themselves around the way that Arlo skated. Whether you had the shaved head with the halo or the horns, or you had the mutton chop sideburns, the tight shirts, the big baggy pants. I mean, he changed the way that we dressed, changed the way that we skated, and it was all because of this video. The next video I think that we saw after this was probably Harvesting the Crust. And I don't know that Arlo was in that very much, maybe a couple clips from Scrap, one of the competitions. But Mad Beef was the second T-Bone film, and that was the big one for us. Mad Beef is when things really got real, and I can't wait until we get to that. I had a really good time doing this tonight, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it with me. It's new, so if there's anything that I can improve or anything that you liked that I should do more of, let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate some feedback. This is different than what the other guys do, and I want it to be different. I don't want to do what they do. I think they do it better than me. So this is something that's unique to me. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.